We're going to start all the way back on Thursday night, though.
Okay.
Seahawks and Bears. It was 6-3.
6-3.
Real NFL score here. And because of Sunday Night Football, which we'll talk about in a few hours or whatever. We'll talk about it at some point. Seattle has been eliminated from playoff contention. But they did get the win. They were still alive until late last night when the Commanders got the win, which put the Rams into the playoffs officially.
This feels like talking about, strength of win or whatever, tiebreakers seems like a new thing this year as opposed to, obviously it's been a tiebreaker before, but
it's coming into play.
I don't remember spending a lot of time focusing on that in previous years.
Yeah, yesterday was a strength of win. It was a day where they focused on strength of win, and one of the games that mattered for the Rams, they needed 3 or more out of 5 games to go their way, and one of them was the Jets in Buffalo.
Right.
Which, both teams played, and, they're both in the AFC, but that had an effect on the whole thing.
It seemed, I don't remember focusing on that kind of thing previously. It's just been, you need to beat this team.
All I really have for notes on Seattle-Chicago, weather game, there was a lot of rain.
So throw it out.
So there was some stuff in there.
Immediately.
And Chicago's clock management was awful again.
Again.
At the very end.
It is brutal. How do they keep doing that?
I got a question for you, because we're generally nerd advocates here,
Nerd advocates.
More analytically sound.
Yeah.
But there's other times I think the nerds, they nerd out a little bit too much. They're a little bit too spreadsheety.
We're each kind of nerd adjacent.
Spreadsheety.
We're each kind of nerd adjacent. You're a former professional athlete.
Yeah.
You're not. You don't come from nerd stock.
And you're
now,
that
being said,
IAFL second teamer.
Exactly. That being said, you did do quite a nerdy undergraduate degree, right?
Well, no, I was just business.
That's quite nerdy.
Business.
It's nerdy relative to whatever the fake degrees they're all doing is.
Finance and
that's kind of, it's with
IT
numbers and
stuff,
spreadsheety. It's nerdy.
Yeah.
Right. So you're fairly nerdy.
I'm a numbers guy generally.
There you go. That's my point.
I'm a number centric.
Exactly. I am not a numbers person at all, other than I happened to be at the ground floor when PFF was created,
right.
And therefore was around them quite a lot. But my undergraduate and postgraduate degrees are all word related. They're not numbers. The last sort of direct contact I had with numbers in my academic career was GCSE intermediate level maths. And the only reason it was intermediate level is because the teacher literally wouldn't allow me to do the higher level paper. So I'm very not a nerd person. Now, I might be nerdy in other ways, but not the usual math guy that people expect.
But you've been headhunted for, head of analytics jobs and everything. So you're certainly nerd adjacent.
Evidently, my LinkedIn resume suggests qualifications that I don't possess.
The point I'm getting at here is that we're very much aligned with late game management, and we'll talk later. Greg Olson doing a really nice job of getting his head around.
Subtweeting Tom Brady.
Subtweeting Tom Brady maybe a little bit yesterday. Understanding late game decision making, right? I'm an advocate for nerds in the building helping teams make better decisions.
Yeah.
However, every week we come out of the weekend saying, man, clock management is at its worst. Clock management is terrible around the NFL. There's no excuse for it. When to take timeouts and everything. You have more people than ever on the headset prepping you during the week. I am surprised that clock management is still as bad as it gets, despite, I know the Bears have smart people in the building. I know the Falcons have smart people in the building. They did it last night on Sunday Night Football, when to take a timeout, when to not. And I know the game's quick. It's happening quick, and you got to make quick decisions, but these guys should be more prepared than ever.
Yeah, I think specific to the Bears, this is the kind of thing that doesn't get fixed in a week, when you hear the overall trend with everything that's gone on there is that details, standards were allowed to slip immediately. It was institutionally right away, nobody focused on details from the install, right? So everything was sloppy. Everything's been sloppy all season long. It's not coherent. It's not organized. It's not planned. Nobody has any idea. Everyone's doing it on the fly by the seat of their pants at all times, right? So you go, okay, well, that was Shane Waldron's fault. Let's get rid of him. And no, actually, it's Eberflus's fault. Let's get rid of him. It doesn't really matter at this stage whose fault it was. It's happened, and there's no fixing that mid-season. You could obviously go, okay, this is how we're going to do game management stuff. This guy's going to focus on it. He's going to prepare us. We're going to have it all set, and this will be a a slick machine-like operation. I just don't think you can do that in Week 16, right? So now I think you are seeing just effects of previous failures as opposed to, an additional failure that's been added along the way. It's just the same thing. Like this is an August problem that's still biting them because they screwed up back then.
Yeah, so this is the Bears specifically. I was just speaking generally around the league.
It's definitely an issue. I think for the Bears, that's why, because Eberflus screwed up so bad that it literally cost him his job, right?
Right.
You'd be like, how do you not learn from that? It's because you can't really. It's really difficult. I mean, you could, I guess, but it's very difficult, I think, to institutionally correct that mid-season and have here's the flow chart of information that's going to happen on game day now, to install that in Week 15 in amongst the other 58 things you got to do, particularly for a guy who's gotten consecutive promotions within a month and is already, occupying 2 jobs ahead of what he's supposed to be doing, based off when they hired him, to then add on, okay, now you also need to structurally implement this entire workflow situation just for this end of game thing. It's unlikely that's going to happen.
Geno Smith, he's been battling injury the last couple weeks here. Another awful red zone decision that he got away with early. Some turnover-worthy plays in there from Geno. Not a good game for either quarterback here. I thought Zach Charbonnet ran pretty hard for Seattle. Enjoyed his work. I also hate when I feel like the running back is playing well and I look up and he's under 4 yards per carry. That's what he ended up with, but he ran well. So Seattle gets the win. Defensive-minded rain game on Thursday Night Football. It kept Seattle alive for a minute. They're 9-7, but like I said, officially eliminated from playoff contention. And the Bears, they fall to 4-12, and per Tankathon, now at number 9, the 5th of 5 4-win teams in the draft picture right now.
Spectacular game from Kyler Gordon from them, who's been really good for them, period, on defense. Their slot corner, another outstanding performance by him. Overall, not a pleasant season for Chicago.
Anything else on this one?
No, I mean, it's a pretty ugly game. We were hoping, I guess, for more from Seattle. They got a win. They kept themselves alive, but it didn't matter anyway because the Rams clinched. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.